In a world where social hierarchies reign supreme, there exists a rare breed of individual who defies classification, the Sigma male. But what happens when these independent wolves encounter the dark underbelly of human nature? Buckle up, folks, because we're about to dive into the shadowy tactics evil people employ when they realize they're dealing with a Sigma. You might think you've seen it all, but trust me, the depths of manipulation and control these individuals will sink to are both fascinating and terrifying. Ever wondered why some people seem hell-bent on making your life difficult, despite your best efforts to mind your own business? Well, you're about to find out. And let me tell you, it's not pretty. 1. They try to control your freedom through guilt and manipulation. In the shadowy realm of social dynamics, evil individuals have an uncanny ability to spot a Sigma male from miles away. Like predators sensing a threat to their dominance, they instinctively deploy their most insidious weapon, emotional manipulation. They'll craftily weave tales of obligation and responsibility, attempting to chain down the Sigma's inherent freedom with golden handcuffs of guilt. These manipulators excel at creating elaborate scenarios where the Sigma appears selfish for maintaining boundaries. They'll orchestrate situations that force choices between personal growth and their manufactured emergencies. It's like a spider weaving its web, each strand carefully placed to entangle the independent spirit that defines the Sigma male. Through subtle hints and passive-aggressive comments, they plant seeds of doubt in the Sigma's mind. They'll question every independent decision, suggesting that true loyalty means sacrificing personal goals for others. The goal is clear: to transform the Sigma's strength into a weakness by making independence feel like a character flaw. These toxic individuals will weaponize relationships, turning mutual friends into unwitting pawns in their control game. They create artificial obligations and deadlines, always with an underlying threat of social consequences. The pressure builds slowly, like a python gradually tightening its grip, hoping to squeeze out the Sigma's resistance. 2. They spread false narratives about your character. When evil people encounter a Sigma male's unwavering authenticity, they often resort to character assassination. Behind closed doors, they whisper twisted versions of reality, painting the Sigma's independence as arrogance and their self-reliance as antisocial behavior. It's a calculated move to undermine the respect others naturally have for the Sigma's strength. These manipulators are masters at reframing the Sigma's achievements as lucky breaks or unfair advantages. They'll conveniently omit the countless hours of hard work, dedication, and strategic thinking that led to success. Instead, they craft elaborate stories that portray the Sigma as someone who doesn't deserve their accomplishments. Like skilled propagandists, they select specific incidents, strip them of context, and reshape them to fit their narrative. A Sigma's decision to work alone becomes, he thinks he's better than everyone, while choosing personal growth over pointless socializing becomes, he doesn't care about anyone but himself. Each story is designed to chip away at the Sigma's reputation. The most insidious part is how they present these lies with a facade of concern. I'm just worried about him, they'll say, or someone needs to say something. This false compassion serves as a smokescreen for their true intention, to diminish the Sigma's influence and independence in the social hierarchy. 3. They attempt to force you into their social hierarchy. Evil individuals become particularly unhinged when they can't place a Sigma male within their carefully constructed social pyramid. Like frustrated chess players facing an unconventional opponent, they desperately try to force the Sigma into playing by their rules. Their discomfort with someone operating outside their system drives them to increasingly aggressive attempts at categorization. These manipulators will create artificial situations designed to make the Sigma choose sides or declare allegiances. They orchestrate elaborate social traps, like mandatory team-building events or group activities, specifically aimed at forcing the Sigma to either conform or be labeled as an outsider. It's their way of trying to gain control over someone who naturally exists outside their influence. The pressure to join their cliques comes wrapped in seemingly innocent invitations and casual suggestions. But beneath the surface lies a calculated agenda to integrate the Sigma into their hierarchy. They'll use phrases like, "You should be more of a team player," or "Why don't you want to be part of the family?" All coded language meant to shame the Sigma's independent nature. When subtle manipulation fails, they resort to more direct tactics, like public challenges to the Sigma's authority or expertise. These confrontations aren't about proving who's right or wrong. They're desperate attempts to establish dominance over someone who neither seeks nor acknowledges their social power structure. 4. They try to expose your perceived weaknesses. Like vultures circling their prey, toxic individuals obsessively search for any crack in a Sigma's armor. They mistakenly interpret the Sigma's solitary nature as social anxiety, their selective communication as insecurity, and their strategic silence as weakness. These misguided assumptions fuel their relentless attempts to exploit what they perceive as vulnerabilities. In meetings or social gatherings, they orchestrate situations designed to put the Sigma on the spot. They'll suddenly demand public speeches, ask overly personal questions, or create scenarios requiring immediate emotional responses. It's all calculated to crack the Sigma's composed exterior and expose what they believe must be hidden insecurities. These manipulators often target the Sigma's preference for solitude, treating it as something that needs to be fixed. They'll loudly point out when the Sigma chooses to work alone or opts out of social events, attempting to frame independence as a character flaw. It's their misguided way of trying to prove superiority over someone who simply operates differently. Through constant probing and testing, they search for emotional triggers or pressure points. Like amateur psychologists with malicious intent, they analyze every reaction, hoping to find that one vulnerability that will finally give them power over the Sigma's unshakable self-assurance. Little do they realize what they see as weaknesses are often the very sources of the Sigma's strength. 5. They create false emergencies to test your loyalty. Evil individuals have a peculiar habit of manufacturing crises when dealing with Sigma males. Like directors of a poorly written drama, they orchestrate elaborate emergencies designed specifically to test the Sigma's boundaries and commitment. These fabricated situations always seem to require immediate attention and unwavering dedication from everyone involved. They'll suddenly declare urgent meetings at inconvenient times or demand last-minute assistance with non-critical tasks. The true purpose isn't the task itself, but rather to observe how the Sigma responds to their arbitrary demands. Each emergency is carefully crafted to challenge the Sigma's independence and force them into their web of codependency. Watch how they escalate simple situations into full-blown crises, especially when the Sigma maintains healthy boundaries. A missed social gathering becomes betrayal, a declined invitation transforms into abandonment, and choosing personal priorities is labeled as selfishness. It's all part of their manipulative playbook to create guilt and obligation. The most telling aspect is how quickly these emergencies dissolve when the Sigma doesn't react as expected. Like a magician whose trick has failed, they quickly move on to the next manufactured crisis, hoping it will finally be the one that breaks through the Sigma's strong sense of self and independence. 6. They attempt to undermine your self-reliance. When faced with a Sigma's unwavering self-reliance, evil individuals often launch a subtle campaign of sabotage. Like termites slowly eating away at a foundation, they persistently attempt to erode the Sigma's confidence in their own abilities and judgment. Their goal is to create dependency where none naturally exists. These manipulators will offer unsolicited advice with an air of superiority, implying that the Sigma's independent approach is flawed or naive. They'll make seemingly innocent comments like, "Are you sure you want to do it that way?" Or, wouldn't it be easier if you just followed the crowd? Each remark is a calculated attempt to plant seeds of doubt. Watch how they react when the Sigma achieves success through unconventional methods. Instead of acknowledging the achievement, they'll downplay it or attribute it to luck. They might say things like, "You got lucky this time, but next time you should really listen to others." It's all part of their strategy to undermine the Sigma's trust in their own instincts. In group settings, they'll often interrupt or talk over the Sigma, especially when discussing topics where the Sigma excels. This behavior isn't just rudeness, it's a deliberate tactic to diminish the Sigma's voice and influence. By constantly challenging or dismissing the Sigma's input, they hope to wear down their self-assurance over time. 7. They try to force you into unnecessary competitions. Evil individuals often view the Sigma male's indifference to social hierarchy as a challenge to their own status. Like insecure athletes desperate to prove their worth, they constantly try to drag the Sigma into pointless competitions. These contests aren't about skill or merit. They're desperate attempts to establish dominance over someone who couldn't care less about their games. Watch how they turn casual conversations into debates, simple tasks into races, and everyday activities into contests. They'll challenge the Sigma's opinions, methods, and even personal choices, always framing it as a competition. "I bet I can finish this project faster than you," or "let's see who can get more likes on their post." These seemingly innocent proposals are thinly veiled attempts to prove superiority. The most telling sign is their reaction when the Sigma refuses to engage. Like a bully deprived of a reaction, they become increasingly agitated and may even resort to mocking or belittling the Sigma's refusal to compete. It's a clear indication that their self-worth is tied to winning these fabricated contests. Observe how they try to create an audience for these competitions, always seeking validation from others. They'll loudly announce challenges or comparisons, hoping to pressure the Sigma into participating through public expectation. It's all part of their strategy to force the Sigma to play by their rules and acknowledge their perceived hierarchy. 8. They attempt to isolate you from supportive connections. In their twisted playbook, evil individuals see a Sigma's carefully curated social circle as a threat to their control. Like jealous puppeteers, they orchestrate elaborate schemes to sever these meaningful connections, hoping to leave the Sigma vulnerable and isolated. Their tactics are as subtle as they are insidious, designed to fly under the radar of even the most perceptive Sigma male. They'll start by planting seeds of doubt about the Sigma's friends and allies. "Did you hear what they said about you?" Or, "I'm not sure they have your best interests at heart," become common refrains. These whispered insinuations are calculated to create a web of suspicion and mistrust around the Sigma's support system. Watch how they manipulate situations to create artificial conflicts between the Sigma and their allies. They might accidentally miscommunicate plans, leading to missed meetings or perceived slights. Or they'll twist innocent comments into potential insults, all in an attempt to drive wedges into these relationships. The most dangerous tactic is how they try to position themselves as the Sigma's only true friend and confidant. "I'm the only one who really understands you," they'll claim, while simultaneously working to undermine every other relationship. It's a calculated move to become the Sigma's sole source of social interaction and validation. So there you have it, folks. The 8 devious tactics evil people employ when they encounter a Sigma male. But here's the million-dollar question. Now that you're armed with this knowledge, what are you going to do about it? Are you going to let these manipulators continue their games? Or are you ready to stand your ground and embrace your Sigma nature? Remember, your strength lies in your independence and self-reliance. Don't let anyone dim your light or force you into their narrow definitions of success. The world needs more individuals who dare to chart their own course, who refuse to be constrained by outdated social hierarchies. If you found value in this insight into the Sigma male experience, don't keep it to yourself. Share it with others who might be struggling with similar challenges. And hey, why not subscribe to the official Sigma Male channel? We're all about empowering individuals like you to embrace their unique path and navigate the complexities of social dynamics. Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications, because trust me, you won't want to miss our upcoming content on mastering the Sigma lifestyle and outsmarting those who try to bring you down.